What's up YouTube, it's your boy Will Ryder back at you another video, and today I need to make a serving tray and I am in a big time rush. So I had promised this tray to someone some time ago. Oh, I need this board over here. And I totally forgot about it because I got busy with stuff. And so far all I did is cut down some pieces of maple and walnut. I got 2 pieces of walnut, 3 pieces of maple, and I got them jointed so they fit together nicely. We're gonna glue them together like this for this template that I made some time ago. I traced someone else's cutting board for that. We're gonna lay that down, trace it, cut on the bandsaw, and round over the edges. And I think that'll be it. I just noticed this piece has a knot in it, so we'll have to fit this knot with some epoxy. No big deal. Something I wanted to do was add a little bit of a flare to it, so I'm going to strip down this center piece down the center, and then put another strip of walnut in between those two. So we'll have a strip of walnut in between those two, splitting that in half. So that's what I need to do now. Split this one in 2, and then we'll get started with the rest of it. The garage is a disaster right now. I don't got time to clean it. If you are into nice clean garages, there's other YouTubers that get paid to do stuff like this. You can go watch one of their channels. I still have a job and stuff because I'm essential. So I'm gonna split this down. I eyeballed it. Looks center enough to me. I don't think it really matters. Not for this because it's not an expensive piece. Let's get this ripped down the center.
So we're all dealing with this COVID-19 thing with the deal. It's been rough on a lot of us. An awesome neighbor of mine, we will call him Neighbor Dave, made a Facebook contest for our local community's Facebook page, and the winner of this certain category will win this awesome cutting board.
All right. I love how maple smells like popcorn when it starts to burn. I'm gonna put a little mark here, so I know which way it goes back together, so that grain lines up. Now I need to split a thin layer of walnut. Not one of the ones I was using before. Oh yeah, this is the one piece I didn't want. It's got this crazy twist to it. We're not using that piece. Get another piece over here. Tripping over stuff. So I just want the slightest little sliver of that. Nope, I gotta joint this too. I need to cut this down. It's a little too long. Let me go cut this.
He called this event Pet-A-Palooza. There are a few different categories: most vicious, best dressed, cutest dog, fattest cat, cutest cat. I think it was it, something like that. We can all be locked in a way, but we always have our pets. They don't know what's going on, and they're just happy that we're home a little more than normal, unless it's a cat. I'd like to think we have people like this in all of our communities, and I really hope you feel the same. If you don't, be that person. There are a lot of ways we can come together and bring joy to our neighbors, or our children, and our pets. You just have to be creative. If you're somewhere that requires a mask, a simple hello or how are you can make a big difference in that person's day, whether they're at the store or wherever. If you're somewhere without a mask, just smile. It's contagious, brings a good feeling to everyone around you. My wife in particular, she's a big smiler. She smiles at everybody, and it seems to rub off. People smile back. They seem to feel better.
All right, something like that. That's what I'm looking for. I think that'll work nice. Now currently my table saw is the cleanest flat surface I have in the garage right now, so we're just gonna use this. And you're thinking, oh no, Will, you don't wanna get wood glue on your cast iron tabletop, but it's okay. I got a piece of plexiglass underneath this, so no glue will get on my table saw top. I don't know if the proud owner of this is ever going to put it in water or just use it to serve like cheeses and stuff, but I am using Titebond 3, the waterproof stuff, to give it a little bit extra durability, and gives me a little longer set time. I get pretty slow with this. I use way too much glue. Where's my glue brush? Don't know where my glue brush is, so we're using a finger.
The biggest thing you can do in this time of times is stay home. Like most human pandemics, it spreads through other humans. You personally may not be affected, but the people you interact with or others they interact with may be stricken with this terrible virus. Or not so terrible. We don't know yet.
All right, the glue up is done. After this, we're gonna scrape some, actually I'm gonna wipe the glue off now while it's still wet. I hate scraping it off later. And then pull it out of here or run it through the planer. That will not happen, what time is it? Ooh. It'll be late, maybe 8 o'clock tonight. I wanna give it at least 4 hours to set. And then we won't do anything until the next day. I really want to make sure the glue's good set. So I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, kids, today is now tomorrow, and this is how it looks on a glue up. Obviously the underside, I didn't wipe any of the underside off, so it is a little dirtier. We're gonna plane that down first. Got the planer over here on the table saw. We're just gonna do the rest of this job on the table saw, except for the part where I gotta cut it out on the bandsaw. All right. Let's shut the audio off for this.
I'm doing things like this, making things for my community for little to no cost. For this one, I charge for material, and that's it. It's a great cause, and I love the idea of it. I've also used my superior shopping skills to get much needed supplies for some of my neighbors. And again, only charge the cost of the materials themselves.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but forgot to get the vacuum for that. And it's way over there, it'd be a pain in the butt. Get this plug out of the way. This is a 2-man lift or a 1-wheel lift. And I can't bend over, so I messed up my back. All right. All right, lay our, this is gonna be the front side here. Is that not flat? Oh, it's still not flat. Flat enough for what we're doing. Oh, my pattern isn't flat. All right. And I'm just gonna trace this. I kind of want the closer look here. What I'm gonna do is I want to make sure the widths on the side here are kind of even on both sides. I think right about there looks good. And just like we learned in kindergarten, we trace. This is a rough pattern, and I'll fix a lot of these edges, especially here in the inside, because when I go on the bandsaw, it's gonna really mess it up. It's not gonna look that good, and we'll clean it up on the drum sander. Or not the drum sander, what is that thing called? The oscillating thing that goes up and down the shaft and uses these little barrels. We'll clean all those edges up. All right, let's cut this bad boy out. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I am awful with the bandsaw. I still haven't figured out how to really use it efficiently. Pencil lines of walnut are kind of hard to see. So make it a little darker. All right, I'm going to do, I think this cross cut first. Mind your ears.
But not everybody could be as awesome as me. Doesn't mean you can't do something awesome though. Think outside the box and just do something. If you have the time and the ability, make someone else's day. You You never know who can benefit what you have to offer. If you're ever feeling down about what's going on, do something for someone else. As they say, it's always better to give than to receive.
All right, so now we got the basic shape. All right, so what we need to do now is clean these edges up with sanding. I'm not gonna show you that, it's very boring. Now the lines have to be straight. It's not really the point of this. It's supposed to look like, I guess like a cleaver. So we'll get to sanding, and then I probably have to knock this knot out or fill it in with epoxy. We talked about that earlier. We got another small one right here. It does kind of go all the way through. Now we got all the sanding out of the way. I got all the bandsaw marks removed from the entire piece. Looks pretty good. And I was gonna sand, but I wanna round over these edges. These lines still aren't like straight. I kinda like the way it looks. Looks a little rough. I got some bench cookies down to kind of keep it from moving on me. Plug the router in. Should make sure to shut off before you plug it in. That could have tore something up. All right, I got my goggles on. I round off both the back side here and the front side. And I will mute the audio for this.
Biggest thing for me is just trying to be creative. You never know who might like your junk.
All right, the router works a lot better if you go the right direction, like I did the second time. But we do have some burn marks now because I did keep the router in some spots a little too long. So that'll get taken care of with sanding. So I'm gonna go hand sand it, get it nice and smooth, and then I think, oh, we gotta put the epoxy in before we start sanding. I'm gonna go do some epoxy. All right, welcome back everybody. Today is now the next day because it took forever for the epoxy for this knot and the two knots on the back side of that one and this one here to dry. It is now sanded down to 320. It was a lot of fun doing the inside parts here. I do all that by hand. But now it is time for the maker's mark, which I always get nervous with because I screwed these up a few times. Hopefully this goes well. That's a good one. Probably could use maybe a second less. I'm gonna sand it down a little bit to get rid of the burn marks around it, and then we're gonna coat this in some Earl. And by Earl, I mean this beeswax and maybe linseed oil finish that I got while I was in Japan. I really like the finish, except for especially for the serving trays that I've made before. And we have a nice sanding job on this. It's nice and smooth. It's quite polished once you wipe the excess off after this sets up a little bit.
I'm happy to make things. It brings me joy. If I don't sell it, it ends up in my house somewhere. Maybe not because I couldn't sell it, but more of me falling in love with the project as I built it. Some good examples of this are my Japanese lamp or my black walnut bench. I planned on selling these, but just couldn't upon finishing them. I like them too much. Put your hands to work. Someone will enjoy what you have to offer.
All right, I'll leave this for about an hour. See if we need to put some more for the end grains. So there it is, all polished up. I ended up putting a second coat on it. So that's it, all polished up. I mean, it's so smooth you can't feel the different layers of wood in there. This is, what is it, 8 o'clock on day 3. I was trying to knock this out in 2 days, but because I want to give 24 hours for that epoxy to set. So 3 days. It's done on time though. Hopefully whoever wins this enjoys it. I think it turned out beautifully. Like I said, it's different than the last one I made. Definitely not as thick. I think it's more appropriate this way. You can actually grab onto it. The other one was so thick because all the boards were turned up the other way that the handle is kind of thick and uncomfortable. This is just seems more appropriate for what it'll be used for. You can see I did some sanding around the Maker's Mark. Got rid of the burns around the edges. It turned out nice. It was a great gift from my wife. And I think that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought. And I'll see you next time.